people are so nervous
Hmm.
to talk to someone they're attracted to. Nobody teaches you how to approach a new person. It's really, in fact, we're taught not to do it.
Hmm.
Don't talk to strangers.
Thank you so much for joining us again on Second Act TV. So happy to welcome back Laurie Gerber, the dating coach and relationship and love expert. Laurie, thanks for being here again.
So great to be here. I love hearing you introduce me.
Well, you made a big hit here on our show with our audience. They really like you. We got so many questions, one of which, or several of which, really led to the segment today, which is we want to meet people in person. You know, this online stuff, we're sick and tired of online. And you're the perfect person to talk about this because you were actually what do they call it? A resident.
An expert, a resident expert.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the big sites, like on
yeah.
Match.
I actually developed this topic of how to meet people in real life working at Match
I
as a
was
coach.
going to say, ironically, that's what
Right.
they wanted you to do, how you meet people in real life. And that leads me right here to your first point, which is how do you show up, as you put it here? Do you really know where you are in terms of mindset?
Exactly. So mindset is the first thing, right? Because depending on where you are we call it the when in Rome scale,
Yeah.
Rome being like roaming into the world. And this is all part of the Handel method, which is the method I'm trained in. So I did not make this up, but I love teaching it.
Mm-hmm.
So the when in Rome scale has to do with literally where you are in your mindset about being in the world with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere from, and I'm going to go through the stages because I want everybody to really find their stage. I'd be curious what stage you're in, Silka. So stage one starts with you can't, your head's down. You're not looking
Mm-hmm.
up. You can't do it, or you think you can't do it. And you don't want to look up, and you don't even really necessarily think meeting people is a good idea.
Yeah.
I know these people exist. Some
Mm-hmm.
of them are in my very own family. The second stage is you wish you could, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not so good at it, you don't really do it, but you wish you could. So at least the intention and the desire is there. The third
Mm-hmm.
stage is you can spot people, you can be curious. If you are engaged with or an overture is made to you, you
Mm-hmm.
can engage and do the flirtation or the back and forth. The fourth
Mm-hmm.
stage is you are willing to go and meet new people, but there might be some people who still intimidate you and
Mm-hmm.
are kind of feel off limits. And then the fifth one is I could talk to anyone. I do talk to everyone. I love people. I'm a ball to be around. And you love yourself. It's fabulous. And your pitfall is actually very different than the other four. What's worse for that stage of a human is that they will also engage with people that are a waste of their time because you're so open-minded and you can find the good in everyone and you love everyone, you really might not be picking in accordance with your actual ideals for who you want to date. So you actually have to work on not following up with everybody. So there's different coaching depending on the stage.
So now, we know how we show up, or we think we know how we show up. So how do we compensate for that, getting out there and actually talking to someone?
I'm just going to give a straight tip. So everybody be thinking, which stage are you in? And by the way, you're going to change stages over time. So you should listen to the coaching for every stage. So stage one, super shy. You're not even sure if you believe in socializing.
Mm-hmm.
Your coaching is make eye contact with two people every time you go out. Just make eye contact.
Contact.
Happy eyes, we call it. Happy eyes. So there is no lack of being able to make happy eyes of people. And that if
Mm-hmm.
you are just coming out of your little cocoon, that's your coaching. If you are in stage two, I want you to look up, make happy eyes, smile at people,
Mm-hmm.
and actually make a connection. Talk to someone's dog, talk to someone's baby, talk to someone about their dog or their baby.
Yeah.
Actually make a connection. Stage three, you're actually going to strike up a conversation with a human when you're out. So if you go out, make sure you create a conversation with some human. So that could be at the supermarket. Where did you get, which aisle was that in? Oh, you like that brand? Tell me why. What kind of dog do you have? Even what time is it?
And this is not necessarily because you're interested in somebody. This is just a practice.
Practice. We're just practicing being a human with other humans. And that's the early stages of flirting, right? If you can just connect with other humans, be a person, connect with another person, then you'll be much less scared to connect with somebody that you are attracted to. So this is
Mhm.
all training. But the next stage is to actually talk to someone you might be a little shy to talk to or intimidated by. And again, that could be because of their role in your life,
Mhm.
how tall they are, how they look. It doesn't matter. You're just challenging yourself again to come out of your
Mhm.
comfort zone, and you're going to approach somebody who might reject you. Because
Mhm.
at stage 4, the whole learning lesson is be okay with rejection. It's
Mhm.
building a callus. Because dating, if you're going to date like you mean it, 100% definitely you will be rejected. And
Yeah.
you will reject if you're playing like you mean it.
Yeah.
So you're toughening your skin, you're practicing getting rejected elegantly. And then
Mhm.
stage 5, you are talking with everybody. Your job is to actually stop talking to people when you discover it's not a good match. When it becomes clear they're not available, they don't live where you live, they don't want what you want, they have pets you're allergic to, you're going to actually practice not continuing the conversation and moving your attention elsewhere to where it will be more productive for your goals.
That's so interesting because you asked me, what stage am I in earlier? You mentioned that, and right away I would say, well, I'm stage 5. I can talk to anybody. I can approach anybody. However, the little caveat there, if you like someone, then it changes. It's just interesting that part of dating, it just makes us be somebody maybe we're not.
Right. We
Yeah.
get nervous and
Yes.
anxious. And the reason Match hired me to do this topic, even though you get to sit at the computer and do most of your stuff when you're on a dating site,
Right.
is because people are so nervous to
Mm-hmm.
talk to someone they're attracted to. And they wanted step by step by step guidance. And I believe in step by step guidance. I'm all for it. I think practicing makes perfect. And
Mm-hmm.
I reviewed my notes for this conversation, right? I believe in practicing. But all of the practicing you do with a person you're not attracted to is
Mm-hmm.
what builds the muscle and the confidence. So it's
Mm-hmm.
both, right? It's have your one-liners, have your questions lined up, but also just practice in the world so that you are a more personable human. That's free. It's free and it doesn't even take any of your time. So you got to do that if you want to get better at meeting people in real life.
And people have to be sort of poked to do that. This isn't something we think about. Oh, let me go practice. So I think
Right.
that's why these conversations are so beneficial.
Right. And there's no shame in it. You're not supposed to be good at it. Who taught you how to do that? We learn to
Mm-hmm.
read and write and do math. Nobody teaches you how to approach a new person. It's really, in fact, we're taught not to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to strangers, right? It's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
the rule.
Well, then let's get into the ins and outs of actually approaching and how to talk to someone, because I know you have some
Be,
direction and do's and
yeah.
don'ts around that.
Yeah, I love the how-tos. And again, Match insisted it be very, very formulaic so people can memorize these things. So there are 5 beats to a conversation. The first is the nod. I see you, I acknowledge you. We've now made some sort of a energetic connection
Mm-hmm.
with a person. So at a bar, at a party, at a gathering, even on the street, in the supermarket, at
Sure.
church, any of that. Okay. Get the nod, get the acknowledgement. We have made eye contact. Let me just take a commercial break to say the problem with dating in real life or flirting in real life or connecting in real life
Mm-hmm.
versus online is you don't know if that person's single. And it is for sure not necessarily something they're even going to tell you for whatever reason. So the advantage of online, which is why I think you should do both, is you're going to know the person's single, more or less you're going to know. The advantage of in real life is you're going to get to actually see if you have chemistry with a human being and see them in a natural habitat. So pros and cons to
Great
both.
point.
I'd say do both. But you need the nod and come hither, which does not mean they're single and want to date you. It just means you've established the connection. The second beat is the one-liner, the conversation starter, right? Like, do you come here often? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like this weather? Oh, are you from around here? I noticed you. You look interesting. Can I talk to you? Right. So,
Yeah.
so everywhere from flirty and cliche to very authentic and honest to just conversational, right? You
Mm-hmm.
need a one-liner, you need to practice a bunch, see what gets good reception, see what you like saying, see what's natural to you. If they like the one-liner and they answer you and they're giving you nice eyes back and engaging with you and not looking at their phone or telling you where they have to go be, then you need your follow-up questions. I have a whole methodology, the Art of Love method, which has the three H's, the head, the heart, and the hoo-ha. You got three voters that have opinions. You can go back to our first recording on your type. There's really a type you're looking for. And if
Mhm.
you're dating for long-term commitment, in those first flirtations, you want to start to get your questions answered about whether this person is a potential for you. You could come right out and say, are you a dog person or a cat person? Do you have any allergies? Where do you live? Where are you from? Or even, are you single? Right? Like asking someone if they're single, if they are single and they're interested in you, that's such a productive question. Are you single? Then now, if they go yes and don't run away, you are now officially flirting. And if they go no, then fabulous. You've just saved so much time and energy. And then you
Mhm.
walk away. So you are allowed to ask real questions for your head, your heart, and your hoo ha. Hoo ha is more of something you're asking yourself in that moment. You're not going to go up to a stranger and say, what do you like in bed? But you definitely can start to ask head questions like, are you from around here?
Mhm.
Cats or dogs? What are you doing here? What are your plans for the day? You can just start to get to know a person if they're willing to chat. Then the fourth, which is so important, is the check-in. Because I'm gonna gender stereotype a little bit. There are a lot of women who are people pleasers, and they will chat with you because they don't feel like they can walk away. They don't feel like they can say
Mhm.
no. They don't feel comfortable, but they're scared to actually tell you. So this is specifically for the men. About a few minutes into the conversation, I want you to just stop and check. How's this going? You
Mhm.
literally go, how's this going? Are we connecting? Is this nice? Are you enjoying this? Oh my gosh. So first of all,
You
if
would
the
actually ask that.
yes, how are we doing?
Okay.
Are we hitting it off? Because if the woman likes you, in other words, if she thinks you're cute, she's comfortable, she's getting to know you, she feels flattered, that question melts a woman, right? How are you feeling? Like, how's this go? Like, you're checking on whoa, a woman will love that,
You're absolutely right. I've never thought of it that way. You're
right? And
absolutely right. Yeah.
And it's just the right thing to do as a man. Acknowledge the power dynamic and acknowledge that people BS each other and pretend like they're having fun when they're not. And I'd rather you find out four
Yeah.
minutes into a conversation with someone you're attracted to that they're not attracted to you rather than 4 months or 4 years. Okay. And then the last is the exit. Some people are so scared of the exit, they avoid flirting altogether. And that goes for if the exit is positive or negative. If the exit
Mhm.
is, hey, could I get your number? Or could I give you my number? Or if the exit is, I'm so sorry, I'm not feeling that connection. It was lovely meeting you. Best of luck. Have a lovely day. Right. So whether it's saying no to someone or rejecting someone or admitting you're interested in someone, people are scared to death of that moment.
Yeah.
So prepare. Have your canned response, have your shtick, have your lingo that you like to say. If you ask me out, I'd say yes. If you ask for my number, I'd say yes. It's been lovely talking to you. Would you be interested in having a coffee with me sometime?
Yeah.
Or it's been lovely meeting you. I don't think this is a romantic connection, but it's been lovely meeting you. Thanks for chatting with me. That was very fun.
You know what's super interesting about this is obviously, the how to's, but also to have people or viewers hear what it really involves to meet somebody in real life. Because I hear it all the time in the comments, well, I prefer to meet people organically. I
Right,
want to meet
right.
them in real life. But you don't think about, perhaps not everybody, but most people, I don't think about the obstacles or challenges that presents. And I think you outlined those beautifully.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I've been hearing a lot of complaints about it over the years.
Yeah, because online dating does, for those who are just sick and tired of it, blah, blah, blah. You have a pool of people that are on there because they want to be approached and they want to date. How much of what we discussed applies actually to online, Laurie?
Really good question. I think I coach all of my daters, and I have my whole program
Mm-hmm.
to have those be prepared, right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
need the nod literally physically, but you obviously there's whatever version for the online that you get the nod and that you want to have your questions ready. Of course, same thing. I call it spark questions. You want to have your list ready.
Mm-hmm.
you want to check in. So a lot of it is really applicable.
Mhm.
And I will just make sure I push one more thought on you, which is that how you ask questions matters too. And if you're going to actually end up with someone who is a good match for you, it means you asked good questions. And it also means you gave good answers, which again, preparation and practice. What you if you just ask someone, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm boring. If you ask them, what do you love about what you do? What's the best and worst part of what you do for a living? What's your favorite thing about your brother? Right? So
Mhm.
you want to actually sit down and take your boring questions, and all my clients start out with boring questions. They're
Yeah.
yes or no questions. They're where are you from? Right? How about what do you love about where you're from? What's the best and worst thing about where you're from? What did you love about growing up there? How
Mhm.
about an interesting question they haven't been asked a million times that has an essay answer, not a one-liner? And then you be prepared to answer those questions too, because if they're good conversationalists, they'll probably ask you the same in return. So that is 100% good for in real life as well
Mhm.
as online, getting to know someone.
Online. Lots of stuff to digest here. I'm looking forward to the comments on this because I think that will spark even more things for us to, discuss down the line. Laurie, this went by so fast. Is there anything you want to add that we didn't discuss that's important in this segment?
Yes, such an important part of flirting and meeting new people. Listening. How could I forget? So much about talk, talk, talk. When what really makes someone feel seen and loved, you're very good at it, Silka. When everyone watch what she's doing. So much of what makes someone feel seen and loved and heard is to be listened to, and so many people are starved for it. So if you ask a question, listen to the answer. And how you'll know you listened is you could say back what they just said. You could ask a
Great point.
follow-up question, right?
Point.
And so probably more than 50% of flirting is listening well.
Great point. And we've done other segments on that. That by listening and paying attention to someone, you all of a sudden become more interesting. So it's a great. I'm glad you brought that up. Glad you
Such
brought
a
that
good
up.
hack, right?
Is that it? We're done.
Sorry, I mean, I always have one more thing, but I do want to just speak to a question I get over and over and over again that kind of annoys me, I have to be honest, which is where can I meet people in real life? And my answer always to that is everywhere. Are
Mhm.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
The question itself is the problem, right? If you ask me where, you don't understand that humans are everywhere and single people are everywhere. And it means you're afraid to go out or you don't want to
Mhm.
go out, right?
Mhm.
Because if you go out, they're out there. One of my dearest friends met the love of her life on a street corner. So,
Mhm.
literally on the street, literally in every store, literally at the bank, any
Right.
event, at any theater, at any pickleball court, so many places. Bottom
In
line,
other words, leave all your options open. You're always in getting to know someone mode.
right. And back to the original point, which is check your mindset, right? So if your
Yeah.
mindset is asking, where are they? It
Mhm.
means you're not out looking up from your
Right.
phone because they are everywhere. But you may be afraid, and that is okay. I understand if you are afraid, but that is not an excuse to stop you from finding the last love of your life. That in there.
Great point. Lori, thank you so much for your time. I just love talking with you. I know our audience loves you. I will link to all of your information. If you want to coach with Lori directly, she has a very precise, I mean, she'll get you somewhere.
I
And sometimes the what seems to be so difficult is all of a sudden it really isn't. It may just not be. So again, thank you, Lori, and I look forward to our next conversation on Second Act TV.